Greetings everyone, welcome back to Blade Bias, and today we are at Blade Show with a very special video that I didn't even know that I would be making, because I have here the brand new Tottori from Machinewise, specifically the Tottori Trainer. Now, I know I said many times that I wasn't at all interested in this thing, and I wouldn't be picking one up, but that has changed fairly significantly, because not only is this thing amazing, but I actually met up with Martine at the pit afterwards, and he entrusted this thing to me overnight so that I could fill out some more of my opinions on it. Now, the aluminum one, I know a lot of people are going to ask me to cover that one. I need a lot more time with that one. This one ended up being a very easy decision for me, and realistically, not the one that I was typically worried about in terms of wondering how it would flip. The Tottori, the titanium version, was always one that I looked at and thought, I'm sure it will probably be fine. It's kind of been the aluminum one that I was worried about. And I will say, the aluminum one flips quite well. I like it. Hi. How are you doing?
I'm doing.
Would you like to guest star?
Guest star on
Yeah.
on the Blade Bias.
It's Blade Bias. It's Dasuko, everybody. Dasuko flips.
Here I am. Check
Oh
out
my gosh.
feet.
Check out the fit.
That is true.
Though you have the aluminum one. Can I see it really quick?
I do have the aluminum one. Here you
Yeah,
go.
so I need a lot more time to spend with this thing, because while I ridiculously like it, I think it flips amazingly. I still can't tell if I like it more or less than the Prisma Pro. So that's going to be a later thing. Thank you for that.
Yep.
But the Tottori was entrusted to me, and I'm going to make a quick video on it because it is super sick. So the turning point for this thing came for me when I took a look at my Sliff T, like really took a look at my Sliff T. And I realized that as much as I love the Sliff T, and I do still love the Sliff T, I've always talked about how it didn't perfectly match my preferences. It's a little too handle biased for me, and I've always wanted a way to turn that down. That's why I loved the trainer blade with the zippy inserts, because it turns down some of that handle bias and it makes the thing feel really good. So what I realized is the Tottori matches my preferences so much more than the Sliff T ever did. It's light, fast, nimble, and it's neutral-ish. Do you want to guest star? No? Look who it is. It's also Ty.
Sure. Hey, chat. Ty Blade Bias here. Sasori, Tottori, whatever, Ballsack Aori. Sorry, chat.
Everyone except Ethan is so incredibly tired right
Yeah.
now. It's like 2 in the morning.
This is the only chance I have to record with this thing, so I have to take it.
It's good. Good job, Dalen.
I love you, Dalen.
Cool. So, this thing matches my preferences so much more than the Sliff T ever did. Not only is it not blocky like the Sliff T, it's actually quite round, but it's not as handle biased. And these are the heavyweights in it. This is maybe the higher end of the handle bias that I would prefer, but it still doesn't have the handle bias of the Sliff T, and it still fits within my preferences despite having those heavyweights. I did flip one with lightweights, not a trainer, but a live blade, and it flipped incredibly well, kind of similar to how the aluminum one flips. But I really didn't have anything to worry about with the Sliff T going away. This thing is basically in the same price point. I think it's like $40 more or something. And in my opinion, flips better than the Sliff T easily. Because somehow they did it, those bastards over at Machinewise. This thing has enough tip weight. It has more than enough tip weight, even though it looks like it has just nothing. I don't know how they did it, but they did. And apparently, according to the people at Machinewise, the old trainer blade that they had where it didn't have these holes that everyone in the community, myself included, kind of hated, flipped the exact same. So it's crazy. It's crazy that you look at this thing and you're like, that thing has no tip weight. And then you do the milk spitting out meme and you're like, oh my gosh, that thing will never fan. And then it fans and it's sick. And it's round and it's grippy and I love it. It's really good. So yeah, rest in peace Sliff T, but this thing is a worthy replacement for that price range. And before people ask, no, it's not better than the Seraph. No shot. For me, at least. I don't think it's better than the Seraph, but it fulfills its niche quite nicely. And I'm actually a pretty big fan of the Tottori. I'm still not a huge fan of the trainer blade, I can't lie. Still don't really vibe with it. The handles are sick. But yeah, the Tottori, thank you. Huge thank you to Martine and the rest of Machinewise Dalen specifically for lending me this thing overnight to try. It was super cool to get to spend more time with it outside of Blade Show and like fully get my thoughts on it, because only when I was flipping it outside of Blade Show did I realize, wait a minute, this thing matches my preferences so much more than Slifty ever did. What was I worried about? So yeah, it's kind of freaking awesome. I like the Tottori. And yes, I will come out and say it because I promised that I did. I was wrong. My bad. Sorry, Machinewise. I had faith in you. I didn't have as much faith in you as I should have. This thing rocks. The aluminum one, still got to figure that out. No, the aluminum one rocks. I just need to figure out if it rocks as much as the Prisma Pro. So yeah, impromptu blade bias with guest stars at the Airbnb for Blade Show. Cool. Thank you all for watching. Another huge thank you to Machinewise for lending me this thing. And I will see you guys in the next one. Later. Hi everyone, Blade Bias here. I forgot to mention, the one problem I have with this thing, and I'm not sure if this is actually intentional or not, is this part right here, where the bite handle indicator begins and there's kind of that divot inside, is so sharp. Like, unbelievably sharp. I keep getting caught by it, and it's like actually digging into my finger because I have like cuts here from Blade Show, and it's just not great. So I don't know if that was the point, if they were like, hey, let's make a bite handle indicator that kind of feels like you're getting a little bit hit by a live blade here, because live blades have the choil and there's that sharp part right there. I don't know if that was like the goal to make a more realistic bite handle indicator. But if it wasn't, it's really sharp, and I wish it wasn't that way. So, okay, now, yeah, that's actually it. Goodbye.